Yo, what is going on, you guys? It's your boy King Sanders here, and we are back with another video. This one is definitely a little bit different than the one that you guys are used to. If any of you guys do know me personally, you guys know I'm a huge NBA fan, just about at every single level that you can think of. I absolutely love the sport of basketball. I love NBA. Actually, I'm running a couple lines in FanDuel right now. I'm actually doing pretty well, so I gotta kind of keep looking down. Gotta make sure that I'm still winning a little bit, but. Yeah, so I've seen a couple of these on YouTube and stuff, and I kind of wanted to put my 2 cents in. Like I said, I'm a huge basketball fan, so I'm gonna really enjoy this. But I don't really want to keep you guys waiting. So let's just hop right into it. So if you guys haven't seen any tier makers or how they work, basically, as you can see on the left-hand side in those little boxes, the top is like the best of the best. The elite point guards go up there. In the orange box, that's just the stars, or like the superstars. The middle box is just solid starters. So it means that they're all right. They're serviceable. They're pretty decent, but at the same time, like they're not bums. They're not superstars. They're just kind of in the middle. And then there's average to below average, which means they're a little bit under solid starters. Like the solid starters will give you pretty good production. The average to below average they're just other guys. And then the other ones at the bottom is unproven, so players that haven't really met their full potential yet, and we don't really know what they're going to be, or they just shouldn't be a starter at all. So I'm going to really enjoy this. I'm going to hop right into it, though. The first one, easy. All right, I'm not going to lie to you. Steph Curry belongs in the best of the best. He does. He even though, and this is, oh, by the way, just a disclaimer, this is the 26th of December as well. I recorded a video earlier and it was a Cold War gameplay, but I'm making another video tonight. It'll be uploaded probably very late on the 26th or early morning 27th. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a disclaimer that it's about, like, I think every team's right around 3 games into the season now, so that's kind of what I'm basing it off of, is just like into these 3 games, and then obviously how they've been for like last year or whatever. Okay, the next is Lonzo Ball. Now, Lonzo Ball is interesting because I was actually having a conversation with a guy at my work about this. Lonzo Ball, he can get you a triple-double almost every night if he really wanted to. But the problem is, you won't see him ever go off. Like, most of the time, he's not going to be a player that's going to drop 25, 30 points per game. He's just a guy that's going to get his stats and do his stuff. So I genuinely think that he belongs in the solid starters. I feel like he's not at superstar level yet because his scoring isn't very well. His shooting hasn't been the best. It's been all right in the past couple games, I guess. But it's not to the point where I can call him a superstar. His driving ability isn't good enough for me to call him a superstar. His playmaking's good, really good, and his defense is pretty good. But he's just not at the point where I can call him an all-star. I just can't. The next is Patrick Beverley. I can't lie to you. He's going to go in average to below average. He's going to be my first player. I don't think that Patrick Beverley is that good of a basketball player. I think that he's a very good defensive player. I think that he's someone that is going to like definitely get in your face, definitely guard you, etc. He's going to be the type of guy to really get in your head, but that's about it. He doesn't really do anything else well. He can't shoot the ball very well, can't finish very well, can't even handle the ball as a point guard very well, and Kawhi Leonard does most of that. So is he really, that guy? No. Is he? I don't know. He's definitely closer to the below average, and honestly, I should honestly put him in the shouldn't be a starter. But the thing is like Lou Will's obviously always going to come off the bench, so he's just stuck there. But yeah, so that's my take on Patrick Beverley. Next, they have Darius Garland here. I thought that Colin Sexton was the starting point guard. I thought that Darius Garland was playing off-ball at the 2. Speaking of, he had a very good game tonight. He almost had a triple-double, I think, against the Pistons. and he was on my FanDuel team, so I'm very excited about that. But yeah, I'm gonna put him in solid starters. The reason why I'm putting Darius Garland, because I'm just going based off Darius Garland, even though I think it should be Sexton, but he would go here as well. Garland has a great ability to be able to get open without having the ball in his hands. He's really, really good at it, and he is a very solid scorer, even though he's only been in the league a couple of years. Him and Sexton, they actually pair really well together. They could both give you like 30 points every night if they needed to. And alongside Kevin Love and Drummond, those guys are going to get the rebounds. So they're shooters, and they can definitely score the basketball. So I like Darius Garland a lot. Kobe White. If you guys know me, I am like the biggest Bulls fan on the planet. I love Kobe White so much, but what I'm gonna put Kobe White. I don't know. You see, the thing is with Kobe White, he could definitely. I feel like okay. I'm gonna put him in solid starters for now. I may change that, but I believe he goes in the solid starters. The reason why is one, he plays on a very bad team. Let's be honest, I love the Chicago Bulls more than anything, but the Bulls are just bad. And he does everything that he can for that team very well. I mean, he can score. Like the other night, I think he put up almost 30. And then we played against the Hawks. I think he had 20-ish. And then they played tonight against the Pacers. I haven't checked his points or anything. I didn't play him tonight on FanDuel or anything, so haven't really been keeping up with him too much for tonight. But he's a scorer, and he's a facilitator, can get his teammates open pretty well, can handle the ball pretty well. He's just a liability on defense. He has the potential to be a superstar. He does. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. He's got a lot of potential. It's just a matter of he's on the Bulls. Is he ever going to be able to get over that hump? We don't know. Next is DeJounte Murray. See, DeJounte Murray is kind of like Alonzo Ball in a way. The reason I say that is because DeJounte Murray is one of those guys, he can go out and get you a triple-double almost every single night. His defense is superb. His ball handling is pretty well. And the problem is just his offense isn't really there in regards to scoring, like shooting the basketball, finishing, etc. It's just okay, which is definitely a liability in the league. If you're not an offensive stud, you're not getting very many minutes. I'm sorry, but you're just, well, I mean, you're getting minutes. I shouldn't say that. You're just not going to ever be a superstar without offense. Like Kawhi Leonard, if he was just a really bad offensive player, odds are he would never be a superstar. I mean, he's got really good defense, and he can rebound pretty well for his size. But at the end of the day, if he can't get buckets, like, it's going to be very hard for any of us to ever put him a superstar. But DeJounte Murray is kind of like another Lonzo Ball in that aspect. He's kind of a jack-of-all-trades guy, but he doesn't really do anything on the offensive side of the ball superb. The next is Elfrid Payton. Elfrid Payton, I've watched him. I've understood his game for a while. I've just been keeping up with him for a while. He's just an average guy. He's nothing special. He's had a high ceiling for the past couple years and has never been able to hit any of it. And it's hard to put him anywhere else. I mean, I just think he belongs in average to below average, and that's just about it. Luka Doncic, come on now. You know he's got to be in the best of the best. Luka Doncic is a really great basketball player. The only thing that he lacks is defense. Luckily, this is an offensive, like an offensively talented league, so he kind of fits in with some of the rest of the guys like Steph and like Westbrook and some of those other players. So it's really easy to put him in best of the best. I mean, to be completely honest, there's been a lot of situations where he has been in the conversation for probably top 5, top 10 players in the league. I know ESPN put him at like number 4 best player in the league, and it's only what, his second year, and he's already like having conversation that he's the 4th best. He was in the MVP race last year. I mean, he definitely deserves to be in the best of the best. The only thing he needs to improve on seriously is probably his shooting a little bit. I mean, he's definitely got a serviceable 3-ball, but he needs to work on his free throws. But other than that, and then his defense, obviously. But other than that, phenomenal player. Kyrie Irving, he's got to go up here too. As much as like I think that Kyrie has a negative effect towards a lot of teams in regards to the teams that he's been on. Like if you think about Boston, he was kind of a negative impact. And I think that, on some of those other teams, I genuinely think he did have a negative impact. But he, at the end of the day, his handles are elite. He's definitely one of the best to ever dribble, like in regards to like just pure ball handling. Him and Allen Iverson and Jamal Crawford are probably in one of their own in regards to ball handling. He can score out the gym. Him and KD have just been going absolutely crazy these first couple games. They just played the Celtics, I think, and Kyrie had a hell of a game. He was pulling from everywhere, so his three-point shot has gotten much better. He can still finish like crazy. I saw some crazy finishes that he had. His handles are still nice, so the only thing he lacks is a little bit of defense, but at the end of the day, if you got Jared Allen and DeAndre Jordan watching your paint, you're honestly fine. Goran Dragic. He's an interesting one to me. The reason why is because I don't know whether to put him in solid starters or stars. Because throughout most of the regular season, I would say he's just a solid starter. Obviously, last year in the playoffs, he had a very, very good playoffs, averaging like 20-plus points per game in the playoffs. Had really good assist numbers, and he was genuinely looking like a top-tier point guard in the playoffs. So I was very, very, very happy about that. But the problem was, it's just Dragic is a very inconsistent player, and as much as I love Dragic, I do, but I don't think I can put him in All-Star until he can actually do that like for a full year. If he can average like great numbers like that all year long, sure, go for it. And you could make the case. I mean, I'm not saying this is just my own personal opinion, of course, but that's where I feel like Dragic belongs. Next is John Wall. John Wall, as you guys know, has been injured for like 2 years. So is he still the same John Wall? I mean, I saw the first couple of games. He looked good. I'll admit it. He looked very good. But we just don't know. We don't know if he... We don't know. I mean, there's just so many question marks around it. So for now, I'm going to also put him in solid starters. You could make a case for All-Star, or like stars, whatever, which is fine. I wouldn't even argue with you. If you said John Wall or Dragic deserved to be in stars, I'd say, okay, fine. The only reason why is because who I'm about to put in stars is just better than John Wall. Maybe not in all aspects, but in a lot of them. So I really like John Wall in the solid starter spot just because we don't know yet. Definitely could change by the end of the year. Just for right now, I think that's the perfect spot for him. Next up is Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray is a star in my mind. He's not a best of the best. He's not a super elite point guard. The only reason why is his defense is really bad. It's almost non-existent. Doesn't play a lick of defense at all. His scoring is really, really good. He can put the ball in from pretty much everywhere. It's just the thing is he's kind of inconsistent. Like he's going to get you, like 20 every night. But the problem is like some games he'll be pretty bad. And he's not on the level of the best yet. I mean, let's take Steph for example. His shooting isn't as good as Steph's. His playmaking's not going to be as good as Steph's. His defense, as bad as it is, it may not even be better than Steph. So he's just a little. He's right there. He's right there to be an elite point guard. He's very, very close, but he's just a couple things away. I could easily see myself putting him there at the end of the season, but for right now, he's going to go in stars for me. Malcolm Brogdon is interesting. Malcolm Brogdon reminds me a lot of like a DeJounte Murray type of player, but his defense is not as good as DeJounte's, but his scoring is a lot better in my eyes than like DeJounte or Lonzo Ball. So he's going to go in solid starters for me. There's probably going to be a lot of players in that because he's a very serviceable point guard. He gets the job done. It's just a matter of that's about it. Like he's not gonna wow the world. Westbrook, best of the best. Like I said about Lonzo, like I said about DeJounte, like I said about Brogdon even, he's going to go out and get you numbers. He is a jack of all trades. He can score the ball, he can rebound the ball, he can play make, he can play deep. And the thing is like with Westbrook can score. He can actually score. Like for example, Lonzo. Lonzo is a very good rebounder, defensive player, and a facilitator. Westbrook is all those things too, but he can get you like 30 points in a game. Lonzo could never get you 30 points. I mean, like, it would be very, very hard for me to see, like, Lonzo put up 30. Like, I just don't see it. And so because he's a jack of all trades and he's got scoring, like, it's easy. It's easy for me. Ben Simmons. You can hate on me for this one if you want, but I'll explain. He deserves to be an all-star for me, or like stars. The only reason why, he's a jack of all trades. He's a 6'10 point guard. He can finish, he can facilitate, he can lock down on defense. One of the best perimeter defenders in the league. Very great player. The problem is he can't shoot. You have to, and especially in this league, in the league that we are in, if you can't shoot, you're a liability. I mean, look at Giannis, right? Giannis is a phenomenal talent. He's like 7 foot. He can dribble. He's super fast. He can dunk everything. But he can't shoot. So he's never going to truly be the best player in the league. Like he will win. He won MVP because he had he had the best. He was the best player on the best team. He put up really good numbers, etc. But he couldn't go anywhere in the playoffs because they figured out exactly what to do, and then they just packed the paint. He couldn't shoot, and it cost them the chance for a title. So Ben Simmons is kind of the same way. If he learns how to shoot, if Ben Simmons, if he could figure out how to shoot, he would be one of the best point guards of all time. He would genuinely be like a top 5 to top 10 point guard of all time. No exaggeration. Trae Young's going to go in stars as well. I like Trae Young a lot. I seriously like him a lot. He just dropped 37 on my Bulls opening night. He had 30 in the first half. He could easily be in the best of the best. He is right there. The only problem is he's still kind of young. We don't really know how he would perform in the playoffs, but it's looking like the Hawks are going to be getting a playoff spot this year. He had another really good night against Ja Morant and company just tonight, so he's got a lot of upside. The only thing is his defense isn't very good. If he could clamp up for a couple of possessions, easy best of the best already. It's just he's a little young, so we never really know how that's going to go. Devontae Graham. I saw that Terry Rozier went in and put up 42 opening night or some crazy number like that. So I don't know how accurate this is. But for Devontae Graham, I would put him in solid starters. You could definitely make a case for average to below as well. The only reason I'm putting him in solid starters is because he was actually pretty good last year. I haven't watched any Hornets games this year. I watched LaMelo Ball for a little bit, but I can't lie, I'm not big on the LaMelo Ball hype. So, for now, I have Devontae Graham in, which is fine. Or Devontae Graham's here. I have him in solid starters because last year he went from Like the year before, he was at like 3 points per game. That's all he was averaging. Then he jumps up this past year to like 20 or like close to it, and he averaged a lot of assists. He was a very good true point guard. He was a lot like kind of like a Kobe White situation. Just a very good player. Just in general, just lacks in defense a little bit. And yeah, that's all there really is to it. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is going to be a star for me. He's got a lot of potential. He could definitely be best of the best. It's just one, he's very young. We haven't really seen him very much in the playoffs because they got bounced first round. So we haven't really seen very much of him in the playoffs. And he's not on a very good team. The Thunder went clean house, and it makes it very tough on a young player like Shai. I mean, with Shai, it's kind of the same situation as Kobe White. Kobe White could definitely be a star, but he's just on a very bad team. So we'll never know exactly how it's going to be. If Shai can somehow carry this terrible team to a playoff, hey, he can be an all-star. He can potentially be best of the best if he, gets a little bit better at just about everything. But for now, he's going to be a star for me. Kemba Walker is interesting because he took a regression from when he went from the Hornets over to Boston. But I'm still going to put him in the... I'm still going to put him in the star category. The only reason why is because he's a very good, like, true point guard. Like, Kemba Walker can score the ball pretty well. His 3-point shooting is pretty good. He can handle the ball extremely well. He's not on Kyrie level of handling the ball, of course. Otherwise, he would be in the best of the best. But he is still a very good handler of the ball. He can facilitate to his teammates. He's got Jason Tatum now, who is an automatic bucket. He's got Jaylen Brown, who's gotten a lot better. He's got Marcus Smart as a shooter. So with all these pieces around him, as long as he facilitates to the correct positions, I mean, he's an all-star. Best of the best for Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard is a phenomenal point guard. Once again, the only thing he really lacks is defense, but even if you consider it, he's not that bad of a defender. He's actually pretty damn good at defending people. The only thing is, he doesn't have a ring, which is really his only knock. Everything else he's done. He's put up MVP caliber numbers. He's obviously never been in the race really, but he's put up MVP caliber numbers. He's been a very good point guard for a very long time, and you can't really put him anywhere other than that. Ricky Rubio. Ricky Rubio's interesting because he could go in average to below average or solid starters. He definitely deserves to be in one of those two tiers. The only thing is, right now, it makes it very tough. It makes it extremely tough because Rubio, I don't even think he is the starting point guard in Minnesota. Because it's D'Lo, right? So why would Rubio start? So I'm going to put him here just because he shouldn't be a starter at all, actually. He shouldn't even be considered a starter. But if we're talking about D'Angelo Russell would be probably a star for me. D'Angelo Russell is one of those players that he's a bucket. He can get a lot of points. And his playmaking is actually pretty good. Him and Cat are going to work pretty well together, in my opinion. They picked up Anthony Edwards, who is definitely going to help them out on the defensive and offensive side of the ball. So great pickup there. But yeah, D'Angelo Russell is a very good point guard. The only thing is he just needs to work on his scoring a little bit more, and he could definitely be a for sure all-star. The only thing is his offense is kind of sketchy. Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry is a star to me. The reason why, he's not good enough to be best of the best. His scoring is not good enough. His playmaking is not good enough to be best of the best. But his defense really saves him. His defense is very, very good. He's a very good leader, very good true point guard. He's like a way better version of Rondo, in my opinion, who can actually score the basketball. Very good player. I love Kyle Lowry. Very, very good player. And he obviously, as you guys have been able to see for the past couple of years, I mean, before they got Kawhi, they were a very good team. They got Kawhi, won a championship with Kawhi, and then after that, they still made it to like the conference. No, it wasn't the conference finals, was it? No, they got into the second round and played against Jason Tatum and company, and Jason Tatum was just different. So he kind of stole it from him, but regardless, Kyle Lowry has led that team to a very good record every single year. Has led them very deep into the playoffs, so he's a very good player. LeBron, I don't even need to say anything about LeBron, but I will. LeBron can do everything. It's LeBron. He's considered to be one of the greatest players of all time. He is one of the best passers of the basketball ever. He's definitely one of the best drivers of the basketball ever. His playmaking is phenomenal. He started to learn how to shoot really well in the past couple of years. It's LeBron. I don't know why I'm going over this, but it's LeBron. Drew Holiday, who is now starting for the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm going to put him at a solid starter. Now, this is going to probably cause a lot of controversy. But here's the thing. Drew Holiday is a very good defensive player. He is. Phenomenal. Top-notch, very top tier, probably like Patrick Beverley or even better, maybe like a DeJounte Murray type defensive player, like a very, very top-tier defensive player. The only thing is in my opinion, his offense is kind of shaky. One night he could drop 30, one night he could drop 5 or 10. It's just a matter of he's a very inconsistent player. He can handle the ball pretty well. He can get the ball to shooters if they're open. He can get the ball to his teammates. He's a very good player in that aspect, but he doesn't deserve to be in star, in my opinion. Markelle Fultz. Markelle Fultz is interesting. He does his job as a point guard, but because of his injuries, I have to give him one more year before I can put him any farther above average to below average. He played pretty decent, I'll say. I guess I could put him in unproven because we don't really know. But I'll just go with this for now. He had a pretty good season last season in regards to getting everything back in order. But for now, I'm putting him in average to below average. D Rose is not the starter of the Pistons. It is Killian Hayes. So I'm going to go based off of Killian Hayes, and he would be right here in the unproven section. Killian Hayes has a lot of upside. He is a very lengthy point guard. He can play pretty decent defense. Obviously, there wasn't a whole lot of defense played in that game because it was Pistons and oh my goodness, I'm drawing a blank. It was Pistons and Cavs. So, let's be honest, neither team is going to be playing very much defense. I think it went into overtime. But, yeah, his jump shot is really nice. Killian Hayes has a really nice jump shot. It looks like he can finish pretty well. His playmaking ability is pretty decent. And he's got okay pieces around him, but he's never going to be able to stand out because of the fact that his best player is Blake Griffin. So it makes it kind of difficult, but he's going to go in unproven for now, but he's got a very high ceiling. I could see him in the star category at some point. It's just he's too young right now. You can't really tell. Ja Morant is going to go to star for me. Very good player. Just dropped 30-something on the Hawks, but the Hawks don't really play a whole lot of defense, and Clint Capella was out. But he's still a really good player. A lot of athleticism. Pretty good defense, actually. Playmaking is pretty good. The only thing that I would say is his shooting is a little bit sketch. If he could bump up his percentage a little bit, he could probably be the best of the best point guard. Chris Paul, at this point in his career, let's see. I think I'm gonna put Chris Paul in the stars. Yeah, Chris Paul definitely has the ability to get best of the best. The only thing is, because he did lead the Thunder to the playoffs last year, which was very shocking. Played very well against the Rockets. Yeah, we'll put him in best of the best. He's gonna go best of the best. Very, very good point guard. Will definitely end up in the Hall of Fame someday. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like he'll ever get his ring unless in Phoenix, Devin Booker just turns into God himself and drops 50 every night. But realistically, it's not going to happen. CP is never going to get his ring, which is very unfortunate, but he's a very good point guard. Obviously, one of the best IQ point guards in the entire league. His facilitating is off the charts, and honestly, his scoring is really good too. When he started in New Orleans, he wasn't the best shooter, but once he got onto the Rockets and then went over to the Thunder, absolutely great shooter, great scorer of the basketball in general. Just an absolutely phenomenal player. So he's going to go right there. Incredible leader too. But yeah. De'Aaron Fox is going to go into stars. The only reason why, he's right here to best of the best, in my opinion. De'Aaron Fox has such a high ceiling already. His finishing ability is off the charts. He's so fast. His defense is absolutely incredible. His rebounding is actually pretty good. His playmaking is really good for the crappy players that he has on his team. Very bad players, and he still makes it work, still gets a decent amount of assists every single night. It's just his shooting. If he could bump up his shooting if he could just bump up his shooting percentages just a little bit, he would be in the best of the best column in my opinion. De'Aaron Fox is a phenomenal player, leading some pretty bad teams to pretty decent records. Mike Conley is going to be the last one for the day. Mike Conley is going to go to average to below average. The reason why for this is actually pretty simple. He doesn't do anything super well. He's an okay scorer. He's an okay facilitator. And he's an okay defender. He's average. Very average, like the column says. So, I can't really put him any higher than what he was at currently, or than what he's at right there. He's a good player, but he's just doesn't do anything superbly well. So, if you guys did make it this far, thank you guys so much for watching the video. And if this is your first video of mine, make sure you guys like and subscribe and turn on that notification bell to see whenever you guys go live. Did you guys think that there was anything else that I missed? If you guys thought that one player should be in a higher tier or lower tier, let me know why. Seriously, I really want to know. But like I said, whenever I was going through it, I explained there's some players that you can make a case for either. And I wouldn't be mad if you guys were to disagree with me on that. I completely understand. But I feel like I did a pretty good job about it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. And if there's any other tier makers that you guys want me to see, make sure you guys send me the links or follow me on Twitter, etc. So thank you guys so much for watching. This is King Stone signing out. Peace.